Hey, konnichiwa, minasan. It's Gray from Wakizashi's Teahouse over in Japan. How you doing? You good? Are you Genki? Are you ready for some Hellverine action? Yes. Okay, I've got a review of Hellverine, the new series, because there was a mini-series earlier on in the year. Hellverine Issue 1, written by Benjamin Percy. Art is by Raffaele Ienco. The main cover here is done by Kendrick Lim, and I've got the Dave Johnson variant, which is a really cool, almost like woodblock print style. Ride or fry. Pretty awesome. Which one would you go for out of those two? This is $4.99. It's 32 pages, so it's quite a big opening issue. And it tells a story of the new Hellverine, who is Akihiro, old Wolverine's son. Who, like, my goodness, I was reading the kind of backstory for his history, and it is long. There's been all sorts of things happen with him. It's fascinating. We do get a bit of that in the issue. Not too much. There's not like too much of an info dump, but it kind of catches you up with his origin and what happened to him recently. So that was good. As someone who's not that clued up on the story of Akihiro, I found it very, very easy to read this issue. Wasn't confused. I really enjoyed it. But I have read the previous Hellverine mini, which is also I do recommend. It's worth a look. So this tells a story focused on, of course, Daken or Akihiro. He's been possessed by the Demon Bagra-ghul, which has brought out this crazy force of Hellverine. It resurrected Akihiro, and the two of them must learn to live as one, says the synopsis. And in this issue, it's basically, as I say, a bit of a backstory. We also see what he's been doing recently. He's giving his judgment on a couple of evil characters in the book, and then he's seeking help from, of all people, Doctor Strange. So that's cool. Yeah, I enjoyed this. It was a good opening issue. Love the horror angle. There's some quite scary scenes in here, so it's not for all ages. I would say it's a rather mature book. It says parental advisory on the cover, but it's very small and easy to miss. So yeah, recommended. I'm going to give this a strong, let's see, I enjoyed it, so yeah, 8 out of 10 for me. A Wakizashi Grey, 8 out of 10. Okay, keep watching because we're going to have a look inside the book. The Demon Bagra-ghul had possessed a young boy, using his body as a vessel to transform into a hellfire-fueled monster that would kill innocents and stitch them into horrific works of art. Wolverine and Ghost Rider defeated Bagra-ghul, but not before it possessed Wolverine, transforming him as well. Wolverine was able to reject the demon and lock it away, but the experience changed Bagra-ghul. When it escaped its prison, it sought out a new host, one like Wolverine. It found the recently deceased son of Wolverine, Akihiro, and brought him back to life. Together, they cut through evil in the world with hellfire claws as the Hellverine. We open with Akihiro sleeping in a barn somewhere. There's narration talking about how his life's going. He tries to put as many mouths as he can behind him. Every night, he tries to sneak in a few hours of sleep. But the nightmares always catch up with me, and they burn. Then we see a tent. The tent's on fire. It's like everywhere he stays, does it end up engulfed in flames? It looks like it. I don't know what or who I am. It's quite a cool image here, the half and half, the two personalities. You can see the tattooed body of Akihiro and Hellverine, half Ghost Rider, half Wolverine. Then we get some backstory for people like me who are unfamiliar with Akihiro's origins. Years ago in Japan, when he's still in his pregnant mother's belly, Romulus killed my mother when she was pregnant with me. He says how he was raised by another family, but in the village he lived, they called him Daken, which basically translates as mongrel, half-breed. Akihiro, or Daken, killed one of his tormentors. He also killed his adoptive mother, but I've been reading the backstory and it was an accident. For a long time that moment defined me. I then embraced the name Daken because I felt I deserved it. He would go on to specialise in hate and pain. His father by blood is Wolverine, Logan. He blamed him for everything that happened, for what he had become, and hunted Logan for years. I hunted him to death. So I've always had what I guess you'd call demons. And it's true, he does. He says how he's developed a kind of infernal sense. He can feel evil, and the demon inside him delights in it. We also get some internal narration, a very rare-looking thought bubble. Remember those? This weird guy who looks like he's got fungal growths on his skin. He's talking about stabbing them, killing people. He pulls out a knife. He's going to attack the shopkeeper there. But before he can, Akihiro grabs his arm. We see it starts to burn. He can read his mind or his sins because he's saying there's 7 people he's murdered, buried in shallow graves. Others were hidden in the woods. But you can't hide them from me. Look at the guy here, he's on fire, he's burning, screaming in pain. We get this great image of the Hellverine, claws snapping out. We switch scenes to Georgia. We see Akihiro riding his cool motorbike. He's tracking a truck which appears quite normal until he gets a feeling whenever evil is near. He can sense things like this semi-trailer full of kidnapping victims. Wow. The demon inside me flames to life and takes over. I become his passenger. Then we're given 2 full pages of catch-up. It's basically summarising what happened in the previous miniseries and what's gone before. Bagra-ghul chose Akihiro as its host. Bagra-ghul was created by Mephisto. It's a kind of demonic, well, it's a demon, but it's also an artist, a demonic artist which builds monuments of the victims of whoever it kills. A demonic sculptor from hell. It was summoned to the world above, grafted onto a boy named Bram, and then later Wolverine. But Wolverine was so strong he was somehow able to resist, to influence the demon. It says here, the killing continued, but my father's will and strength somehow sculpted the sculptor. Logan's attempt to focus his own beastly tendencies toward altruistic ends gave the demon a new goal. Evil became more than its muse, but also its target. We get this great image here of the Hellverine and Ghost Rider going at it. And when the demon Bagra-ghul was exorcised from Wolverine, it chose a new body, one that felt familiar. Me, or what remained of me. My carcass had been torn apart by Sabretooth. It was stitched back together into a punishing instrument for the demon. And I became the Hellverine. Okay, we switch scenes again and we're in North Carolina in the woods. Akihiro's out there camping. His bike looks pretty awesome there, what do you reckon? He's alone with his thoughts, asking himself, is he as evil as what he punishes? Should he even have a right to exist? When he's interrupted by somebody sniffling or crying in the background. Hey, what's wrong? But the figure who has interrupted his thoughts, pretty creepy, appears to be soaking wet and has, I don't know, what is it, moss? Oh my god, moss burger? No, moss growing on her body. She turns and runs. Akihiro follows her and then she seems to disappear. He sees a lake and there's a small hut, lights on in the hut. Then he sees a young woman in the water, she's got a hand up. He dives down deep. Then we get this truly creepy image here. We're reminded that, yeah, this is a horror book. She wanted me to find her. She wanted him to find them all. Pretty cool image again of the Hellverine rising from the lake. So, we see the occupant of the little hut. I like the little cans of Bub Light on the side there. This guy here is watching a wrestling match on the TV. You can see a knife there on the table. Don't know why, but that mannequin dummy in the background of the woman, it's kind of freaking me out a bit. We get Akihiro's internal narration. I'm starting to realize something. I've been on the run because I'm scared of what's inside of me, scared of what I might do. But every time the demon draws us toward evil, like a hot compass. Every time Hellverine takes over, I feel relieved of some pressure that's been boiling inside me. Gotta say, I'm liking this narration by Ben Percy. The demon inside, Bagra-ghul, it needs an outlet. Repressing the demon is making things worse. It needs to be satisfied. We see the guy here drinking beer, he's sweating. Somehow the beer becomes hot, it starts boiling. Damn hot! Hot as hell! He's confronted by Hellverine. Then in the background we see the hut in flames, burning, as Akihiro is digging graves. I couldn't leave the children in the lake. They deserved a proper burial. And then look at this panel on the right here. What is going on? Is that how he left that, that horrible murderer? We can see like his skeleton. I think it's his skeleton. It's kind of mixed the bones up and you see his severed head at the top. Like, man, he's not messing about, Ben Percy, with this series. In the next scene, Akihiro's ridden his motorbike to a very famous house in New York. Do you recognise it? The Sanctum Sanctorum. Doctor Strange invites him in and starts telling him, he's reading him, you're inhabited by an infernal force, very old and powerful. Akihiro asks if he can help, but Doctor Strange replies, seeing as he's not the Sorcerer Supreme anymore, he doesn't know, but he's got his curiosity piqued. Then I like this look we get inside the Sanctum Sanctorum. Look at that, pretty cool. The demon is parasitic, but I'm rather perplexed by its choice of you as a host. It's hardly given me what I'd call life, replies Akihiro. Dr. Strange is looking through his magical books. He's checking like, you say that you don't merely kill but you build, you sculpt, you make art out of horror. Akihiro's angry and tells me to forget the books. He puts his hands on the side of Dr. Strange's head. You want me to form a telepathic link? I don't know if it's wise. Look, damn you. Then we see this pretty horrific image here. I took him to the convenience store where I'd interrupted the robbery. That's how he left the robber at the beginning of the issue. Man, it's pretty dark. I took him to the road where I discovered the truckers with a trailer full of trafficking victims. Then we get this great image here, look at that full page. And then I took him deeper. See Doctor Strange's face mixed up with the demon, the Hellverine. Mephisto even looks like, what do you reckon? Doctor Strange breaks a connection, he's angry. Don't ever touch me again, ever. Akihiro's desperate, he's also angry, he's asking for help. What did you learn? Strange replies, what if I were to tell you that you were wrong about the demon turning over a new leaf after bonding with Logan? Bagra-ghul very much remains a citizen of Hell and a servant of Mephisto. No, that's not right, that can't be right. The people I've killed, they're evil. Evil's a slippery word, one that's usually rooted in pain, fear and hate. Qualities you specialize in, Daken. What are you saying? What Strange is saying is that he believes Mephisto has a plan for both Bagra-ghul and Akihiro. And if you don't put a stop to it, then that suspicion you live with, the feeling that's plagued you your entire life, that you don't belong here, that you shouldn't exist at all, I'll make sure it comes true. And we get the final panel here. Strange is telling Akihiro, the first step of your journey is the North Pole, where the demon first summoned you from the grave, where Hellverine was born. Next issue, North of Hell. Okay, thanks so much for watching this far. Really appreciate it. Do let me know what you thought of the issue if you read it. Do let me know in the comments, and we'll be buying this series. We'll be reading it. Here is a preview of issue 2's main cover. That's pretty awesome as well. Same artist you can see there, Frederick Lim. Okay, as always, thanks a million. Thanks so much for watching. I do hope to see you in a future video, future review. And yeah, as I say, looking forward to issue 2. This is Gray from Wakizashi's Teahouse, signing off for the night. Matane.